What's up, guys? Tim in the North back with another Age of Empires 2 ranked match. Today we are on Arabia, getting my scout game on here. I did find Hunt pretty early here, which is always a plus. Today my opponent in blue, Mayor Anius Augustus, totally butchered that, is playing as the Burgundian, so playing against the Burgundians again. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. This was interesting when I was playing it. And yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I'm getting pretty good at scouting early on. One thing that I did not do super well here is time the free animals early up here. Ran out on this one, and luckily I had another goose right here, but the goose was not there for, my villas to stay put, and it does sacrifice the worker efficiency a little bit. My opponent's down to 60. Obviously, there's heavy influence when there's less villagers out on the field here, but kind of sloppy on their piece here. We did just finish that goose. This always happens to me. I think I got everybody on the boar, and then somebody goes and smacks a goose in the head, and then, you're rotting half your food away. So, opponent's pushing their ostriches in. Is that what this is?
Bonjour.
Okay. Emu, sorry. They're pushing their emus in. I just pushed one in, I think, myself. Can't see with the tree here. It looks like we have somebody on a goose. Yeah, I think back here is the emu. I should have two. Yeah, one boar is still here. Another boar up here. This person built a house, and they're going to be bringing a boar in. This is going to be a bit of a mess. I'm trying to push this and bring this back. These guys are sitting here behind this tree. Am I going to lose? Yeah, this did not go well. I can't. Oh, all right, we got the boar to run back here. Wow. All right. Really, really bad on my part. My opponent's already gotten both their boars. I am still trying to get my first one. I have one more emu. Sorry, I have two more emus. One of them still running around out here, so definitely bit off more than I could chew on that one. I also have two of these geese down here still. My opponent actually could have snagged one of those if they would have kept walking forward a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm up to 15 or 16 vills, and I still haven't brought this second boar in. If this was higher elo, that probably could get lamed on me, but not on Arabia at this elo. So, my opponent's scout is scouting around. I have 13 on food. I have a second less idle TC time than my opponent, and the 30 emus under the town center. 18 vills, still have not grabbed this boar. Yeah, what an absolute, if you want to know what build this is just a slop build. Slop pit. And I'm going for my second to last goose here, while two of these are still out here, and I have a boar. So I'm gonna bring these geese in. My opponent is hacking away, 15 on food. They are gonna get to feudal age just before me. Did they get loom? Yeah, they have loom. Okay. So, all right, there's the next boar. Sending some of these guys the wood. We do have people on berries, so we are finally out of our disastrous dark age here. Age of the depression. So, my opponent's scout is now located in my base. I think I saw this, and I was trying to keep an eye on when this was going to happen, and yeah, I was ready for it. So, got a couple shots, and the scout is dead. So, we are up 1 in terms of kills. My opponent tightening up the base here. Pretty. I never think like this, and that probably sounds mean. I just mean like, I don't know. When I wall my bases, like there's a barrier here, and then I'm going to this wood line. I get claustrophobic, I think, when I'm, you know, looking at this. But it works for people, so you know, it's efficient. These guys are closer to their resources, but I just don't. I can't do that. All right, so we're in Feudal Age. I still have not found. Okay, I just found my opponent's base here, and I found their town center. Fortunately, they weren't ready like I was. Nice walls, nice quick walls. I'll give you that. We do not have man-at-arms coming in yet. So we're gonna beat on the barracks here. I am gonna try to pull this guy off just to delay him just enough, and I'm gonna run over to this one so we can tap this. He's not going to. All right, these guys are coming over. If I would have had man-at-arms, this would have been a much better showing for me. But again, I was running the slop build here, so I wasn't ready. So, this worked out well for this guy. It does idle him a little bit, but, you know, he's close enough to the town center, he'll be all right. We are beating this barracks down. I am running around with the scout to see if there's any other openings down here. And I'm going to find that there isn't. But I'm going to leave the man-at-arms parked here. Idle TC's 50-some for my... well, it's climbing right now, almost we hit a minute. And it's probably because of the stress from this. I did find an opening here. I don't know if I'm going to... I think that Ville's going to go down. Okay, I have arson coming in because I have 5... Oh, so they just came out, the Flemish militia. Let's just back up here. He wants me to get away from this. Without a barracks... Alright, well, he's already started the archery range, so he'll be okay. He's cleaning this up. I got that Ville down. So that's a win for me over there. This is starting to wrap up. This is just about dead, and I wanted to get that down before he died. So, my opponent needs to build another barracks. I don't think he could do a second archery range or a stable unless he builds another barracks. And he wants it right back in the same spot. That is a level of determination that I wish I had. I also wish I had more discipline on running my town center, up to 1:14. Also, my economy is absolute trash. I have 3 on berries, and 4 on farms. I have 487 wood. Hera would be livid right now. So we are exchanging again out front. I lost my scout. Remember, we do have arson. And the archers here will lead me to retreat. And I am just going to kite this back at a different angle away from my base to just kind of keep these guys somewhat occupied. Another man-at-arms coming out here. I do have some skirms. I put down a barracks here for myself with the, you know, the surplus of wood that I had, and I'm finally starting to get some farms down. My opponent has me beat surely on economy here. Way more balance with 12 on food, 10 on wood. But I do have a Ville lead currently. So, while I have that lead, it is kind of being wasted. So, I think my opponent pulled those archers off. And we're just trying to build up here. I want to leave the skirms in the ranges for as long as possible, because if I see them walk this way, I can have them pop out and chase the archers. But if they show up on this end, I kind of want be able to pop out this way and chase them down over here. So I did let them out because I think I was more concerned about this side being open than I was here, because it's a quicker run from the gold and tree to the town center than it was, you know, having this opening here and possibly being able to push this way. So that was my thought at the time, but no pressure yet, so I kind of want to go back and see if I can poke the bear a little bit more. And my opponent is thinking the same thing. So another showdown here. Numbers are certainly in my opponent's favor, and I acknowledge that, and I go, you know what? I'll head to the other side of your base and make you have to chase me over there. And then my opponent's like, well, I'll go to your base and make you have to react this way. So we split up. It's easier, I'm closer, and I can apply more pressure quickly. And we, you know, causing some reaction here. My opponent is heading into my base. This is the side I was a little worried about. I'm dropping a tower here because of the gold and wood line here. This is bad on my part. I'm running right underneath the town center. He's parked on my farm, and I'm gonna lose these guys, I think. I think I was completely distracted from this. This was a mistake. Not, oh, never mind. I guess I did queue up archers. He's occupied over here, I think, and that's why his units were kind of attacking that farm. We are gonna get this tower up. I have some range units of myself. Still some activity going on over here, and now we have a tower and some range units ourselves. So we're going to be able to get back to work here shortly. These farms are still a little bit of a risk. I do want to see if I can chase him down a little bit here, because those Flemish militia, I can just run from them, and, you know, it's just a micro battle with the archers. So he pulls them back, and you're going to see me start to do some work here. Got a little bit of damage on the militia. I was going to try to wall this back off to give myself some protection. Could not complete that. My units are now stuck behind here. But yeah, I'm under pressure. My opponent is... stop paying attention to this. This guy's walking from the gold all the way... Oh, there's a wall here, that's why. Okay, my opponent has clicked up the castle. I've clicked up the castle age. I'm trying to get fletching and padded armor. My opponent's on the hill here, which is not a good exchange for me, and I acknowledge that and run back this way. Fortunately, I have 2 more archers to replace the ones I lost there. He has more military heading over this way as well. So I'm in the castle age. I don't have a whole lot going here. I also don't have any vills queued up, so we're ticking up idle TC time. I feel a lot better knowing I have fletching now, though, and we are trying to get crossbowmen. Go for the range units. They're more of a threat for us right now. Idle bills were both at 57 worker efficiency there. How about that? They took this barrier down, put a stable, and yeah, this exchange I'll take all day. So he's going to try to run back with those. He's not yet up to castle age, so he's not too concerned with that. He's got some skirms here at the home. He's got two stables down. So opponent definitely wants to go for knights here. There were more on gold. I think it was 10 on gold or something. Also trying to get a watchtower up here, which is going to take a spot on one of the... Yeah, trying to rebuild here, huh? I was going to say, this was too close, and this guy's just chilling here. Kind of tight. This is what I'm talking about, the claustrophobic thing. I'm trying to get another town center here down. I want to get on the stone. And, yeah, I have a Smallville lead. I am going to look to pressure my opponent right now. I figured, you know, I cleaned up a little bit of the army he had in my base. I don't plan on doing too much heavy military investment right now because I know I have a decent lead right now. So I just kind of want to see what kind of damage I can get in. I am going to find my first Vil with these units. These are just normal skirms, so they'll go down quickly to the crossbows. And I see that I have a wall here, and I want to get through that. My opponent does have Cavaliers, so because he's the Burgundians, he does get the Knight upgrade an age sooner than other civs. And that is going to be a nice counter for my crossbowmen. So sneaking in some eco kills here. He's massed 4 of these, and it's going to be too much for the crossbowmen. And I know that I'm going to lose the crossbowmen, so I'm just going to go back for the Vils. I'm not going to try to clean up the army here. Alright, so, yeah, not exactly what I was hoping to see here. I am pulling back some of my archers. Having yellow units on this Arabia map is kind of killing me right now. So, I am going with more crossbowmen. I'm trying to get some spearmen. They have no upgrades. My opponent does have the first level of upgrades for his Cavalier. And I'm dropping my 3rd town center here. I just kind of want to keep this somewhat tight so it's easy to retreat into a base if needed. So going to have an exchange here. Like I said, obviously the spearmen are not upgraded at all. No armor and no attack. But they do enough for me there. Opponent is still working with normal skirms. And I see that, and I'm not too afraid about taking an engagement with them right now. I do want to get more spearmen in case there are more, you know, Cavalier that show up, which they are. I'm grabbing my first melee attack upgrade here, just hoping to get a little bit more damage in on the Cavalier, along with pikemen. My opponent is going with an, excuse me, an all-in approach here, just running the 1 town center. I am not really taking too much of an advantage of the town centers I have. I'm up to almost 8 minutes of idle TC time. This guy got away from me. And my opponent is massing a nice little army here, so it is in their favor along with the army value. They have 19 units, I have 14. This is looking really rough. I'm not paying attention to my eco. I'm also barely running my town centers right now. I have 2 queued with, you know, 170 food, and I'm not really making food units. I know I have pikemen out here, but it's not like I already have some queued up. I really need to get the town centers running here. Elite skirm coming in for my opponent, and that will be a heavy counter for what I have, because the elite skirms will, you know, do enough damage to pikemen, and they'll clear up my gold unit, and my gold unit already does not do well against what he has in the field here, so it's going to be a little rough. So my opponent is now making mangonels. The siege workshop is where? Here, behind the trees. There's an opening here. Oh, 12 Cavalier, 12 elite skirms to my 9 pikemen and 15 crossbowmen. Yikes. I'm about to be pop capped here. Alright, we do see this here. I pull the pikemen back. Yeah, those are elite skirms, so I'm not going to be able to do too much against those. I do have Botkin arrow at this point. I'm trying to get the chainmail armor for these guys. And here comes the mangonel, which is gonna be a problem. So some nice damage here on the Cavalier. Wish I could have taken that one down. And I am going to retreat a little bit to the side of my base. I am dropping a castle here. And my opponent is now trying to batter down the front part of my base. I am trying to get another barrier or another set of walls here to try and protect my base so he does not come through. There's 2 mangonels here. I need this castle to go up yesterday. I'm just sending the pikeman forward. It pulls the cavalier off, and I have my castle up. So the front of my base is somewhat protected now. This is also not good. I don't have any military out. I do have a nice Vil lead currently, but I'm also up to almost 20 minutes on idle TC time here. So a lot going on. I'm trying to get some monks here to help me deal with, a cavalier. If I can get one of them to turn and, slow this down just a little bit, that'll be helpful, but obviously they pull away, and there was an opening on this side of my base. So we are in trouble. I got a full health one, which was nice. The monk converted one, and I lost the monk. So there's a castle here, there's town centers. I have a small wall here to keep this protected. I decided to pull him off and try to go back here, but it looks like I clicked the skirm and not one of the mangonels. So I am going to lose this town center. This is a hill, so they get extra damage, and there's 2 of these mangonels, so this will go down quick. Trying to keep the Vils coming out. This is a problem up here if he starts to run around, but he's trying to apply pressure from this angle of my base. I'm trying to switch over to a cav unit here because, I need to get to these mangonels, and I need to be able to do something with the skirms because there's just too heavy of a counter right now. So trying to wall off more here. Losing more units. And I've decided that it's time to drop another castle here. This area essentially means nothing to me. I have a couple farms in there, and that's about it. I have a mangonel of my own, but I'm going to hopefully, maybe snipe one of the other mangonels. Opponent is coming up this way. I'm getting nervous because I want to get this castle up. I have plenty of Vils on there. Almost 18. I snagged one of these guys over here, I think, so it's 17. I'm just trying to distract this and slow it down as much as possible. I have a castle up here now. So my opponent's still running on 1 town center. I just have to hold this off long enough and establish my own army here. Both mangonels go down. My opponent sees this castle now. And calls the GG. Might have been a little too soon for that, but I do think this was going to quickly get away from them. Like I said, 1 town center for my opponent. They did stop producing units, it looked like, but I did stabilize here. I was at 1,000 food. I had 2 castles up. I could sell off and just delay a little bit to get the gold here. These cav units are in pretty rough shape, but they're not going to get in here. There's a castle here. There's a tower here, a town center here, another castle. So I think it would have been rough for them to try and get much more damage here while I stabilized. And my opponent could have gotten up the castle age though, right? Could have sold off some of this food, put down a university, and gotten up the castle age, but they wouldn't have had any stone for a castle to get like trebs out to penetrate here. But yeah, I think if this would have went longer, this just would have turned around quickly. But yeah, this was a fun one. Very sloppy. It was just an absolute slop fest on my part. But yeah, it was this is a good one. So hats off to Majoranus Augustus. Like I said, I'm sure I butchered that. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. For now, feel free to like, comment, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.